132.5, I think, in the super stock race. So that was his fastest ever time on a stocker, and yeah, he's going to be wanting to do a little bit more on this and hopefully sort of push towards a podium.
Okay, it's pretty much time to head downstairs for the podium for the anthem. Let's go to Chris Kinley.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Alexandra Slater. Thank you, Alexandra. Good stuff. We'll grab that microphone, Lee, and let's get on to business for the Milwaukee Senior TT. We'll let them finish the camera shots in there, and then we'll jump in. I'll make my way up. You go and wrestle it off her if you want. We'll make our way up to the TT start line now, getting ready for this 4-lap race. Looking forward to this one, Lee. Money on the table, Sunshine. Who are we going for?
It'll be hard to go any other way than Michael Dunlop, the form he's on today, but honestly we had a little chat up in the comms box earlier with Tom and stuff, and Pete's had a lower success rate this TT, probably by his standards. So
the past 4 or 5 times, really, to be fair. He's been normally podiums and winning stuff, isn't he? So
yeah, so if it was going to be anyone that's going to want to come out swinging, possibly, it's the money's on Pete. And then obviously we've got Dean Harrison. He had an unbelievable ride on that Supersport bike. I think he got more out of that bike than what most people thought was in it. So yeah, really good ride by him. Davey Todd's come on strong all week, been on the podium all week, apart from the Super Twin races. But yeah, it's anyone's.
Big space between John McGuinness and Dean Harrison now. No Jamie Coward, he's pulled out due to an ongoing injury that he's had. Is that going to help Dean, or is that going to hinder him?
I think it's going to help him. It's just one less bike to pass. I had a quick chat with Jamie down there. I believe it's called tendonitis in the arm. Yeah. He's got it right from the start of the week, and there's no way of getting rid of that while you're trying to do these things to your body on these bikes. So he just needs to go home and rest.
Milwaukee Senior TT Day. Jenny Timoth joins us down on the grid. Jen, nerves are up, aren't they?
Yeah, at least the riders have had a couple of races, haven't they, to kind of settle into it. It isn't just like the 6-lapper like it normally is, just the one race. So hopefully the nerves are a little bit calmer and they know what to expect out on track.
There's also going to be a pit stop after lap number 2, so that's going to bring something different into the equation. We've had no pit stops today at all, and people like John McGuinness said he hasn't even ridden his big bike in anger for a few days. So that's another thing to think about, isn't it? A few of them only rode Super Sport or Super Twins. They haven't rode these big bikes for days. Lee Johnson.
Yeah, there was even talk of that in the races this morning. Like Josh Brooks had mentioned that he hadn't sat on his Supersport bike for a number of days. So yeah, the weather's played a big part, and the guys we look at there straight away are the guys that normally come out swinging straight away. Dean Harrison has to be one of the best guys out of the blocks. We've seen that in the Supersport race straight away. Michael Dunlop is also like that. So probably Pete is the steadier of them guys, and he normally comes good in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 laps. So like we've said all day, these races are a lot shorter than what they normally are. 2 laps off the end of a senior TT is a big portion of time, so you can't be giving these guys 6 and 8, 10-second gaps at the start. So it means a lot of work, because they can all ride on or near the lap record. When someone is doing that, you have to go over the lap record to get that time back. So
can anybody touch Michael Dunlop? Jenny Timoth, what are your thoughts on that quickly if we get to 12 minutes to go?
Yeah, it's hard to say that anyone can, isn't it? The Superbike race, he was away with it, so, and he's obviously super confident, just having those 2 wins, and yeah, we've just seen John McGuinness come to the grid.
For another TT start, jump over, you want to go and grab a word with your fellow Honda rider, because you like your Hondas. John McGuinness is with Jenny Timoth.
John, could you jump in?
Yeah.
How are you feeling for this?
Yeah, just a long wait, innit? Feels like ages since I rode my Superbike, but I got a cheeky little spin on Michael's RCV before. So yeah, I'm just going to get stuck in, doing my best. I'm away at number 1, I've nobody to chase. I'm just going to, conditions look good now, so I'm just going to enjoy my 4 laps of TT24, the last 4 laps I've got, so hopefully we'll be thereabouts at the end.
We're hoping to see you on the podium. Good luck.
Oh, listen, do you remember what John said if he gets on the podium at TT? Do you remember what he said? Lee Johnson, can you remember?
I think we should just ask. We're looking at John's team boss right now, and there was mention that if John got on the podium again here, it's double or quits, John. Is that what we're saying? So Harv did say he was going to get a tattoo at the Northwest 200. He then backed out of that decision. He's looking very squeamish right now. But yeah, John's looking chuffed here. So all you guys out on the track see John come by, give him a big wave and think of Harvey having to get that tattoo. We haven't picked the location yet, have we, John?
Look at him squirming, he's squirming like bugger. I think it has to be on his bum cheek as well, maybe.
No comment to that one, but yeah, we're gonna be rooting for John out there to get back on that podium.
Certainly are. Thank you, Lee and Jen. Keep holding the microphone. We're going to have a quick word with Dean, if we can. Just the boys, just Chris, just having a quick word with them about a final couple of little things. Just pointing things out that have changed, maybe things that might have slightly just adjusted for him. Yeah, okay, we'll let him get in. And Dean saying, okay, that's good. And no Jamie Coward in front of you there, so no Carrot to chase, but that bloke in front of you, McGuinness.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened with Jamie.
Tendinitis.
Tendinitis? Alright, okay. That's a shame, that's unfortunate for him, but bit of a clear road for me then for the start of this one. So I'll just get the head down from the start, as I always have done and I always do, and I just try my best.
Do you ever look for the rabbit on the back? Do you like to chase, or do you like to just do your own thing?
No, I'll be honest, I like to do it by myself, to be honest. So if I have to chase, I'll chase. Or if someone comes through, I'll chase on. But no, we'll be all right.
Good luck, Dean.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looking very, very focused, Lee, isn't he? Yes, talk about Lee's crash helmet.
Yeah, Dean's crash helmet. We're just sat looking at it here. For all the photographers out there, they love taking pictures of Dean Harrison. He forever runs that clear visor. The sun is out now. It's really bright in the sky. All the guys that are stood down on the grid here spectating, everybody's got sunglasses on, and yeah, he's got a clear visor on.
You can grab a word with Hutchie if you want before the start of the senior TT. Ian Hutchinson with Lee Johnson.
Yeah, we're going to get a quick chat with Ian. Ian's done a really good job this week. We've been looking at the times all week, building up steadily. You said at the start of the week you were coming here to learn for next year. How do you think it's going?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be difficult, and I've had a few gremlins to get over. Obviously, what happened in Estoril in January with the mechanical issue, where I had to jump off a bike with no brakes, 180 mile an hour, has not been the best for me, but I've been chipping away at it, and I think if we'd had a little bit more practice, a super stock race and a senior, I'd have ended sort of where I wanted to be, but we'll just get through this one now and move on. But you know, I'm feeling happy riding round here again, so that's what we can do.
Yeah, like realistically, if you'd be starting the week now or practice week now, like how you feel, that's the way you're going to go into next year, so you can only look positive towards that and how you're going to come back next year.
Yeah, I need more time competitively on a short circuit. Obviously, it's hard to come back road racing and try and lift yourself to the level that you need to be at. So I need to get out on a bike on a short circuit. We only did one round at Oulton Park of BSB this year, and you know, hopefully for next year we can do a bit more than that.
Yeah, and hopefully the end of this year we're going to see you back in British Championship as well.
Do what?
We're going to see you back in British Championship towards the end of this year, possibly.
I mean, really, you need to leave here and go straight back and race in British Championship and keep the ball rolling, but obviously we're not doing the British Championship, so we'll just have to see what happens from there.
Cool, thanks very much, good luck.
Lee Johnson speaking to Ian Hutchinson and Rob Hodgson. I hope you've calmed down a bit. I mean, I know when to stay away from people. You had that look in your eye, but as soon as you got on the bike, the boys just said to you, just calm down. But you went off the line. I've never seen a twin go off the line that hard ever. Hey, that was fun, hey?
It was all, yeah, what a nightmare, yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it does, and there's no one to blame. It's just one of them things, a battery being flat. It's just, yeah, so it cracked up first time every time until then, when you really need it. So I was really up for that race, and, you know, I thought Michael's going to come past at some point, and I thought I'll be able to tag on the back of him for at least a bit, and if it drags me further up the leaderboard, then perfect, you know. But I had to pass a few bikes instead.
In some strange places that you don't normally pass people on. What about the SMT Honda for the Milwaukee Senior TT?
So yeah, it's never easy going from a slow bike to a fast bike, but yeah, I was feeling pretty comfortable on it by the end of the super stock race the other day, so I think we should be all right. You know, we've made a couple of changes for this one, nothing massive, just enough that'll hopefully make it easier to ride and yeah, help us push on a little bit. Yeah, usually test me a few laps to get going, so hopefully we can bite the screen and see how we do.
Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
There you go, Rob Hodgson. Nice to get the awards on that. Who we're going to have a little chat with? Jenny Timmoth, I think, is going to go and have a little chat with maybe Peter Hickman is there, or is it? No, Peter Hickman's in there, and she's going to have a little chat with our senior winner from the other year, Peter Hickman.
Pete, can we have a quick word? How are you feeling for this?
Yeah, well, good, you know. We've made a few changes. let's see if they work.
Can you let us in on what you've done, or?
It's only some setting, suspension a little bit. I said I wasn't happy with the bike in the first race, so we altered it a little bit. I did the warm-up lap on Tuesday on it, and it was a little bit better, but the bike was still doing some odd things. We've gone a bit further.
Mega, good luck, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the podium.
Well, we were told that Michael Rutter was a non-starter, but through all the cables, we were told you're a non-starter. But you're here. First of all, how was the lap? How much fun was that?
No, it's just very emotional, especially, hearing the old Ducati when he's coming down the gear changes a bit. It sounded great.
The only person not to get back, I think, was Connor. Didn't make the line, was it?
Oh, no, I feel so sorry for him. He's had a terrible week, and I wish he could have just got round on that. That'd have been nice to have them all finished, but at least we got 5 out of the 6.
And Locker sounded lovely. They all sounded lovely across the line, but Locker had that singing.
Well, I told him to take it easy, and he pulled away from everyone. I was like, oh, God, right. But, it did. I passed him, and I looked down, and it just looked ace, it did. So, and he even enjoyed it, so he had a little smile on his face.
You've got a smile on your face now. Milwaukee Senior TT, 4 laps.
Yeah, 4 laps, just gotta see how it goes. I need to hold on to this thing. It's so fast. We had a few issues in practice. We haven't got the best setup, but it's what we got now. Just got to get on with it.
Good luck, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Michael Rutter. So there we go. There's the thoughts. Lee, you're still up with us with Jenny on the grid here now. We're a couple of minutes to go. And for those who don't know what they do is now, they kind of limit the people that are here. As soon as the 5-minute board goes, they kind of push people away from being up onto the grid. So no Craig Neve either, so we're not going to have Craig Neve with the start here as well. He did go out earlier on today on the whatever. That seems an age ago, doesn't it, the Super Sport race?
Yeah, you say they limit people on here, but there's a lot more people on here today than there has been any other day this week. It is absolutely buzzing on the grid.
It is. We're ready to go with this one. Looking at the clock, in fact I can't see the clock, there's too many people there. It is 3 minutes and 50 seconds to the start. Davey Todd is not up here yet. What can he do after that Superstock win, the whenever that was, whatever day that was? Josh Brooks just putting the lid on as well, and these guys, and Josh, heard the interview with Josh a bit earlier on, not happy where he finished in the Supersport race because he's a winner. You guys all want to win races, don't you?
Yeah, that's why we all race motorbikes, but he speaks very well, Josh. He's very, very intelligent when it comes to talking about motorbike racing, and we're just seeing him here now getting his helmet and his gloves off. But I think Davey Todd's got the late Michael Dunlop walk. We're just seeing him come walking up now. He looks uber relaxed, got the sunglasses on. It's just a little bit of less time, got the earphones in, music going. A little bit less time to be standing up here because there is tension here. Everybody looks at you as Michael just walks up at the same time. So yeah, that feeling, and I've got that feeling right now, and I'm not even riding the motorbike.
You got it? You got the feeling?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can actually see it in both your eyes now. You've got that thing, and Michael just strolls past us here now with his guys looking out for him because he's now focused on the job in hand. He does exactly the same thing, Lee, when he comes here. He goes in, has a little look at his visor, put his drinks bottle down, last couple of words, adjusts himself in his leathers, as you have to do, and just gets himself in that zone.
Yeah, that's all repetition. No, it's the way the brain works. If you repeat the same process and what becomes normal to your brain, then that calms the brain down, and you'll do the same thing rolling up to the start line. You'll maybe move his leathers or whatever way you like to put that politely, but yeah, this is all repetition, and some of us guys will close the visor because it could be silly little things. You put a new visor on and there's a clear seal on the inside sometimes that has a different coloured film, and there's all these things, so you just go through the same process every time.
Hand on first, right hand on first, what would you do?
Some guys are superstitious. I know John is really superstitious,
yeah.
But honestly my memory's too bad. I would forget, and then I get halfway down Bray Hill and then go, oh no, I've put the wrong glove on first. So yeah, that's more of a superstition thing, but the repetition is just to calm the brain down, and it's a process. He's done it that many times, and he knows exactly where he is and what he has to do right now.
What are we going to see? I think lap record on the last lap, if it's going to be pushed, maybe coming into the pits at the end of lap 2. Those little damp patches, which we'll tell you about in a moment or so. We'll actually make our way forward now to the start line. Jen, what have they got to do? They've got to go for it, haven't they? Have to go.
Yeah, they have to, don't they? Just with a 4-lap race, you can't hang about, and I think that's the thing now, isn't it? All these guys are so fast, you can't give anything away on the first sector. You just have to go from it from the off.
Let's give you the course information. This is what the riders will read when they come past here. It's got a bit better than what it was a little bit earlier today. It's a 4-lap race, and there's damp patches at Glen Helen, and that little area there where the water's coming up through the Dean Harrison just stops to have a big quick word with Lee Johnson before you got you can repeat that, or you're not going to?
No, I can. He literally looked me straight in the eye and he goes, I bet you don't miss this bit. This is the worst feeling now for the riders. Sitting here, the place is still calm, and the tension, this is the highest the tension gets. Once he gets there, the engine starts and you let the clutch out, you're all free, but this is the worst point. If I could get teleported from the motorhome to the clutch going out, that's what you would pay a lot of money for.
40 seconds to go to the start of the Milwaukee Senior TT. Chris Boyd.
Thank you very much, Chris Kinley. It's a tea time start for the Milwaukee Senior TT. It's picture perfect sunshine on Glen Crutchy Road and around the TT course. 4 laps lie in wait for these riders, 150.92 miles. 1 pit stop, and after the mayhem of last Sunday Superbike TT, they could be crucial. Our starter is Paul Strong, head of marketing for Milwaukee. The lap record stands to Peter Hickman from last year at 135.507. We see the 2 Hondas line astern with no Jamie Coward at 2. It's John McGuinness, the Morecambe missile, who'll get us into action now. 6th and a 7th so far this week for John as he gets away. We wait 20 seconds then, obviously with no Jamie Coward. The KTS Stud Plan Group rider, a late withdrawal. Dean Harrison then will be the next to go on the sister Honda Racing UK machine. 2 McGuinnesses. Here he goes. 3 podiums and a 4th place finish already for him this week. Next to go will be Ian Hutchinson on the Malenko by Padgett's Motorcycles Honda. He's away as well. Then following him will be James Hillier from Ringwood on the WTF Racing Honda. It's all Hondas in the top 6 away. Next up will go the man of the week, Michael Dunlop, bidding for a 5-timer here on the Hawk Racing MD Racing machine. Out to the right-hand side, gets a cheer from the grandstand as he goes. Josh Brooks on the Monster Energy BMW by FHO Racing. He will go next. Then Davey Todd, a winner already this week, the Saltburn rider on the Milwaukee BMW. He's second fastest, he's second on Sunday in the Super Bike race. He's away. Then next will be no sign of Craig Neve. Craig Neve looks like he may be an additional non-starter. Craig Neve not making it. So Peter Hickman, the winner of Sunday Superbike TT. He will go next on the Monster Energy BMW by FHO Racing. He's away. Then we will have a gap where Connor Cummins, Davey Johnson and Lee Johnston would have been had they made the start line. They have not so far, so we will move on next to Michael Rutter on the Babham's Ales BMW. Had the parade lap this afternoon, celebrating 30 years at the TT for Michael. He's what's he done so far? He's had a 9th place finish in the Superbike, a 7th in the Super Twin Race 1 and a 13th in Super Twin Race 2. He will get the nod to go. There's nearly a minute's gap between Peter Hickman and Michael Rutter, and with no Craig Neve, that's advantage Hickman potentially on the road. Michael Rutter is away now. Rob Hodson will come to the line next on the SMT Racing Honda. It's a smoother getaway today than this evening than it was this afternoon. He's away. Next up will be Dominic Herbertson on the Burrows Engineering by RK Racing BMW, already a podium finisher at this TT. We'll have a gap at 17 where Gary Johnson would have been, and move on to Sean Anderson, the Banbridge rider on the Team Classic Suzuki. He retired in the Superbike race last Sunday, so he'll be looking to do better than that. He had a 12th place finish last year. Philip Crowe will go next, the Market Raisin rider on the Nigel Appleyard Agriwash BMW. Next up it will be Mike Brown on the Mike Brown Racing in competition Aprilia, which has been fantastic to see at this TT. Mike had a podium just this afternoon. He's away, distinctive sound of that Aprilia. Next up Nathan Harrison on the Honda Racing UK Super Stock version of the Honda. He was a retirement on the Superbike TT. Next up Paul Jordan on the Jackson Racing powered by Prosper 2 Honda. The Magrafelt rider is away. Then we'll move back to the Manx riders and Mikey Evans from Sanson on his own Mikey Evans Racing Suzuki. And next to the line will be Douglas rider Ryan Kringle on the AGR Motorsports Honda. He's away. Then we'll move on to Brian McCormack on the Roadhouse Macau by FHO BMW. The Tremor rider will get the nod right now. Mark Pendlebury gives him the tap. Then we'll move on to Julian Trummer on the other Jackson Racing machine, the other Honda, the Austrian rider. Julian Trummer away now. Amalric Blanc from France on the Team B&M Gaz 58 HML Honda will go next, and then the next few after him will be Matt Stevenson, James Hines, Michael Sweeney and Marcus Simpson. We might wait and see whether Simpson is out there or not after that spill earlier today, but it's time already to be looking out to Glen Helen, because John McGuinness is already through, leading on the road at Glen Helen. We'll wait for the times to pop up. Dean Harrison also through. You can still see those wet patches there, Patrick Perrant, on the road as they come through Glen Helen, still there even at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, still them wet patches there. The water table must be so high there for it. It's not rained through the day, most of the day, but they've got wet patches just right up the centre of the road, so the riders sort of trying to stand the bike up before they get on the throttle, so they're not on the edge of the tyre lent over as they sort of get on the throttle.
Already catching Ian Hutchinson on the road as they head up towards Sarah's Cottage, and in fact Dunlop is already catching Hillier, so these three are going to come together very, very early, Patrick.
Yeah, he's got off to a great start as Michael Dunlop. There's a huge applause as he went off the line from everybody in the grandstand down here, so a huge crowd favourite and a huge favourite in this race.
Absolutely. We're seeing Davey Todd as well as catching Josh Brooks on the road as well, so there's going to be early traffic issues in lap one of this Milwaukee Senior TT.
Yeah, David Todd leading at Glen Helen, 2.3 seconds ahead as Peter Hickman goes to the top of the timing screens now, 1/10 ahead of David Todd, who's 2.3 seconds ahead of Michael Dunlop. Further 1.3 seconds ahead of Dean Harrison.
Hickman's just spins up a little bit as he goes over the wet patches there on the exit of Glen Helen. Hickman, as you say, leads by 1/10 of a second from Davy Todd. The two BMWs, then Michael Dunlop on the Honda is 2.3 seconds down on Todd. Dean Harrison is 1.3 seconds down on Dunlop in fourth. Josh Brooks holds fifth. Then James Hillier shows in sixth. John McGuinness seventh. Ian Hutchinson eighth of the 8 riders through Glen Helen on lap one of the Milwaukee Senior TT.
Uncharacteristically there of Dean Harrison. He's normally the one to sort of get the fast lead and get away. And
Hutchinson, Hillier and Dunlop over the top of the Garrow line. Instead, oh, there's passes going on the run down into Bravo Garrow. Oh my word, whoa. I think Dunlop may have passed them both on the run over the top of Bagaro down through into Bagaro dip. Woof. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Yeah, incredible action there, watching them go through the top of Bagaro and the bottom of Bagaro, and that's one of the sort of fastest, most compressive corners on the whole circuit to be passing people into there. It's, yeah, sort of on a mission there to try and get past them so he doesn't get held up through any of the sort of twisty sections of the start of the course.
Hickman, of course, with no Craig Neve in front of him, and the next person he would catch on the road will be Davy Todd, who's obviously very racy as well. So Hickman is going to have a good, clean run through this opening lap. So let's just see if anyone else has dropped in amongst those top-end competitors. Yes, Dominic Herbertson has dropped into 8th. Then Sean Anderson has dropped into 9th from start numbers of 16 and 18. Michael Rutter is holding on to 10th at the moment. It's Hickman that leads. Dunlop has passed both of them. Whoa, what a moment that must have been down Bagaro.
Yeah, really committed into there. I'm sorry it's took me so long to get up here, guys. The crowd on the grid is absolutely like nothing I've ever seen before. There's people on top of people trying to seeing people off the start. We look down there now and it's still absolutely rammed.
Yeah, this is a blue ribbon event. Everybody sort of wants to be down there and watch everybody get away at the start of the race.
Indeed, we see Davy Todd right behind Josh Brooks on the run up out of Kirk Michael and over Ren Cullen. So Todd's hit trouble, hit traffic, so too has Dunlop. Hickman is the man who's prospered. He's got clear road.
Yeah, we spoke about this earlier on. It takes at least the first half, if not the first 2/3 of the laps for the guys, the front runners, we're talking about the top 3 or 4, to get through that traffic that we've seen and then settle into the second lap. But with this race being cut short by 2 laps, Patrick, it doesn't, you have to really push past. There's no more of the days of sitting and waiting for your chance to come, as we see Davy Todd is still behind Josh Brooks going into Balaf Bridge, so we'll have to see if he gets past him within the next mile or so.
Yeah, you lose a couple of seconds on this first lap and it takes some getting back, and like you say, not having the luxury of that 5th and 6th lap, you're not going to sort of make back the time, so you've sort of got to push your way past and sort of make hay while the sun's shining.
Yeah, the other trouble is Josh Brooks has topped pretty much every time or speed trap this week. So for Davy to pass him on a straight line, he's going to have to pass him on the brakes or commit on that pass to get past him.
The lap then, lap 1, and Hickman has extended his lead over Todd. Hickman has clear road. Todd has traffic. It's out to 1.5 seconds. Hickman leads in the battle of the two BMWs. Hickman on the Monster Energy by FHO Racing BMW. Davy Todd on the Milwaukee BMW. Michael Dunlop is then 3.1 seconds down on Todd on the Hawk Honda. Then Dean Harrison in fourth, 3.6 seconds down on Dunlop. Josh Brooks 3.1 seconds down on Harrison.
Yeah, we've seen Davy Todd has sat in behind Josh Brooks the whole way down Sulby Straight here. It went to try and go over to the right-hand side to pull out of the slipstream. Couldn't quite get past, and at the end of Sulby Bridge, he's still behind Josh Brooks. Couldn't outbrake him into there. So, and the next section is quite... he's committed. He's committed for the pass here, and he's through on Josh Brooks.
206.996 mile an hour for Josh Brooks down the Sulby Straight. Just 0.004 of a mile an hour, shy of 207 mile an hour.
I think that will be a new record for Josh Brooks down Sulby Straight. Wow, really quick.
And that's with towing Davy Todd as well, like in his slips, because people say that when someone's in your slipstream, it pulls a little bit off your top speed. So yeah, that is absolutely incredible.
James Hines slots into 7th place at Glen Helen. Let's have a look back there. After the front three of Hickman, Todd and Dunlop, it's Harrison in 4th, then Brooks in 5th, Hillier 6th, then James Hind, as we say, in 7th on a super stock machine, John McGuinness in 8th, Mike Brown from start number 20 shows 9th, Dominic Herbertson starting at 16 shows 10th, and Nathan Harrison is in 11th from his start number of 25.
Really impressive that from Nathan Harrison. He's had a challenging few months leading up to this with obviously a little slip off and speeding and testing and stuff, so yeah, a really good ride for him there. But we've seen just before we shot to that shot of John McGuinness, Josh Brooks has gripped onto the back of Davy Todd this time. In previous races we've seen Davy pass Josh and then just gap him straight away, but Josh has clung onto the back of that Milwaukee BMW.
Yeah, but the best thing you can do, sort of try and bring him along, because he's sort of been there or thereabouts, but he's just sort of not been able to sort of get onto the back of that top 4 guys.
Yeah, we can see Dean Harrison coming in there, as I mentioned earlier, that clear visor. We get a full view of his eyes straight into Ramsey Hairpin.
Michael Dunlop on the Hawk Honda, 195 miles an hour down Sulby, 11 miles an hour slower than Brooks, 6 miles an hour slower than Hickman.
Yeah, a little bit of that could be down to the stability of the bike, or the sheer outright speed of the two bikes shouldn't be that much different. The horsepower should be pretty similar and stuff. So if Michael's having to roll a little bit with setting issues or something like that, or it could be just down to the aero on the BMW being a little bit better than the aero package on the Honda. But we can see Josh Brooks has just come through up the inside of Ian Hutchison into Ramsey Hairpin as well there.
Yeah, as we see that Peter Hickman's 2.6 second lead over Davy Todd now at Romsey, so he's sort of pulling a little bit, and then Michael Dunlop a further 6 seconds back of Davy Todd, so maybe that speed difference is something, just sort of a niggling issue that sort of might hold him back in this race.
Yeah, there must be quite a few flies out there, Patrick. I've seen out of the top 6 or 7 we've seen go through, I've seen 4 or 5 guys pull a tear off straight away at Ramsey Hairpin, so that's quite early on. We normally only have 2 for 2 laps, so they've still got a lap and a half to do with only 1 remaining tear off.
Yeah, the sun's sort of been shining now for the last couple of hours, and the sort of heat is getting up, and it's sort of getting towards that time in the evening at 6:15 now, where the sort of flies will be sort of coming out, so maybe that's just showing on there.
Peter Hickman then, our race leader, is on a 135.5 mile an hour pace from a standing start. This is a sensational start by Hickman. We've seen him not necessarily be on the races right from the start this week, but today he is.
Yeah, we spoke about that down on the grid. He's not been on the level that we're so used to seeing Peter Hickman in the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, maybe he's feeling a little bit left out on the Michael Dunlop party, and he's come out all guns swinging today, and he's gonna prove a point with that one.
Yeah, we can see him there using all the road from white line to white line, and he knows that he's going to have to come out here and go out and lap record pace right from the very start, because there's 3 other guys there that are going to be doing that also.
Looking at Michael Rutter as he makes his way into Ramsey Hairpin as well. Let's try and get some of these later guys, see whether or not they're coming through. Go on, Lee.
Yeah, really, really stylish from Rutter there. He selected back into first gear quite early, and the bike pitched sideways. And I don't know if you guys could hear that with the sound on the radio, but yeah, the rear tyre was squeaking the whole way into the hairpin. But yeah, like Patrick was saying, because these guys are all capable of lap record pace, you cannot give anyone up to 5-second lead on the first lap, because you're going to have to break the lap record by a decent amount to be able to pull that time back. So yeah, the pace is really hot right now, and all these guys know it, so they're all pushing right from the off.
Hickman has just set the fastest sector time we've ever seen from Balaf to Ramsey. It was taken by Davy Todd in the Superbike TT on a 3:07.6. Hickman's just done it in 3:06.9. He's taken nearly 7/10 off that sector record.
How can we explain this? The weather is nowhere near as good as what it was last year. The rubber, there's not anywhere near the same amount of rubber down on the track. I don't believe the track's got any faster than what it has last year. There's been some little amendments, but not enough to be making this time.
It can't have done. It's amazing, you know. We've had loads of rain these last 2 weeks, so the track really isn't rubbered in, not like it was last year. The guys got so many laps during practice week, and every race went at full race distance, and the amount of track time that's actually gone round right now is there's hardly any rubber on the track compared to last year. So how these guys have managed to do these times so early on in this race as well, it's quite amazing.
I think the only thing you can put it down is the fact that there is 3 or 4 guys willing to push that hard, and they know that they can't give each other an inch to start off with, so they're having to do this, Patrick. It's not the fact that maybe they want to do it, but they know if they don't, they've got no chance of winning the race.
Davy Todd is catching James Hillier on the road. The leading competitors are through the bungalow. Hickman leads now by 3.1 seconds over Todd. Then Brooks, in fact, where Dunlop's dropped a load of time on the climb of the mountain. Dunlop has dropped down to 7th overall. It's Josh Brooks who's up into the podium places, 12.9. In fact, Dunlop is stopping, Dunlop is slowing. We can see him stopping. Oh, this could be race run for Michael Dunlop up on the mountain.
Yeah, just before that, we've seen Davy Todd pass James Hillier really closely into Windy Corner. So yeah, I don't know if he just got caught out a little bit with a braking mark there, or James maybe braked a little bit earlier. But yeah, it was a really close move into Windy Corner. But Davy Todd is in fact through now, so he should have a bit of clear track or clear road on the go now. They've already passed Ian Hutchison at 4, James Hillier at 5. So Michael's obviously pulled over out of the way now as well. So yeah, Davy should have plenty of clear track.
Yeah, we can see from the sector time there that Michael Dunlop lost nearly 15 seconds on the sector from Ramsey to the bungalow, and he's just stopped on the lay-by at the left-hand side by Hellwood Heights.
Let's just give you that revised positions then at the bungalow. In fact, the leader rider's already through Cronknamona, but at the bungalow, Hickman led by 3.1 seconds from Todd. Brooks now up to 3rd, 12.9 seconds down on Todd, and his teammate Hickman ahead of him. Then Dean Harrison is only 1.6 seconds down on Brooks. James Hillier is 13.8 seconds down on Harrison. John McGuinness moves up to 6th, 7th. Well, Michael Dunlop's out of it, so it doesn't matter. It'll be 7th for Michael Rutter. Then Rob Hodson and Ian Hutchinson are both riders we have through so far.
Yeah, we could see the guys coming out of the run out of the Craig. They're leaving big black lines off the rear tyre, especially Davy Todd, and that's because there is already no rubber down. That would happen anyway, but the fact that there's no rubber on the tarmac, it makes it so clear to see that how hard these guys are pushing right now.
Yeah, and obviously Davy Todd and Peter Hickman will have passed Michael Dunlop there at the lay-by, so they'll know now that he's not in the race, but Dean Harrison will have no idea.
That's the 2 Hondas blasting through to start the second lap. Line astern, get the cameras out. The 2 factory Hondas are coming through line astern. Harrison and McGuinness. Harrison now leads the race on the road. He's 20.1 seconds ahead of McGuinness, but obviously wait for the race battle to come through, which is between Hickman, Todd, really for the lead, and then we've got Brooks and Harrison having a battle for 3rd.
Yeah, really good showing this by Josh Brooks. He spoke a little bit earlier on the Supersport race. He wasn't quite happy with the running on that Supersport bike, as we see Davy Todd come across the line now, followed by Josh Brooks.
Get these race times. We wait for Hickman to come across the line. It's down to 2 seconds at Cronknamona. Hickman continues to lead, but by only 2 seconds from Davy Todd. It's then 13 seconds. Here is Hickman. It's gone up again to 2.6 seconds. So Todd had brought it down to 2 seconds. It's now gone out to 2.6 as well. Let's bring you the lap 1 speeds. John McGuinness 130.399. Dean Harrison 132.976. Davy Todd 135.159, Peter Hickman 135.523, Josh Brooks in there at 133.388, and James Hillier 130.77. It all means Hickman leads Todd by 2.6 seconds. Third place to Joshua Brooks, 13 seconds down on Todd. Then Dean Harrison is 3.1 down on Brooks. James Hillier 17 seconds down on Harrison, and McGuinness 3 seconds down on Hillier in 6th, with Ian Hutchinson 7th of the 7 riders through here. Michael Rutter at Cronknamona slots into 7th place. But as we head out onto lap 2 of this Milwaukee Senior TT, it is a duel between the 2 BMWs. Peter Hickman on the Monster Energy by FHO racing machine, and Davy Todd on the Milwaukee BMW.
Yeah, we're just going to test the stat machine again one more time. Is that Josh Brooks' fastest ever lap of the Isle of Man TT at a 133.388? But we're just seeing Paul Jordan come into shot. Yeah, it is. Oh, we've got confirmation. That's how quick this guy can work, people. He's literally got me them facts over straight away. Yeah, we're just seeing Paul Jordan come into the shot into Craig. They're a really nice line through the corner, and the fans going wild on the side of the track. I can't believe the amount of people there is here, Patrick, watching this year.
Yeah, no, the crowds are amazing. But Joshua Brooks there, 133.388, fastest ever lap from a standing start. So he's sort of really using that extra speed that he's got over everybody else is sort of good use now.
Yeah, and he said a few times this week, this is his bike. This is the bike he rides in BSB week in, week out. He feels the most comfortable on. Even though he said the Superstock bike was easier to ride, he prefers riding the Superbike.
Yeah, so familiar with this bike, riding it week in, week out, and it just goes to show that if you get time on your bike before the TT, and that's the bike that you ride all the time, then it's going to be a massive advantage coming into these big races.
Let's try and get a little bit further down the leaderboard. Sean Anderson is showing in 7th place. Dominic Herbertson in 8th. Then, in fact, Mike Brown now slots into 6th. So Brown in 6th, McGuinness in 7th, Sean Anderson 8th, 9th for Dominic Herbertson, 10th for Michael Rutter. We start to work down a little bit further. 11th, Rob Hodgson, then Ian Hutchinson and Nathan Harrison into 13th. Philip Crowe 14th, 15th, Paul Jordan.
Yeah, I believe that's Mike Brown's first 130 lap as well, from a standing start at a 130.536. So yeah, it's a good jump. I think he did 129.7 or 8 earlier on in the week. So yeah, really good ride for Mike Brown there in 6th position.
We go that James Hind is a retirement at Parliament Square in Ramsey, and Michael Russell was an additional non-starter. So Michael Russell didn't start this Milwaukee Senior TT, and James Hind out at Parliament Square in Ramsey as we await next. Out at Glen Helen, it is 2.6 seconds that Hickman leads Todd by.
Yeah, we just got a shot there of Rob Hodgson has caught and passed Dom Herbertson. So yeah, Dom Herbertson's just sitting in behind him there for a little free taxi ride again, just to get back round.
Yeah, it's always advantageous to sort of tag onto the back of somebody if they catch you clashing. If you can sort of hook onto them, you can learn so much. But yeah, Mike Brown there, 130.5. He's had no sort of excess information from anybody in this paddock. The only Aprilia RSV4 in the whole grid, so they've had to come here with their own data, their own setup, and sort of nothing to sort of really fall back on from any of the teams. So yeah, great job by them. He's got 129.9. I think he got a couple of times in the practice week and in the first Superbike race. But amazing job there to do. Be the newest member of the 130 club.
Just to confirm, that opening lap by Peter Hickman was a new senior TT lap record. The senior record stood to him from last year, 135.503. He's just upped it very marginally to 135.523. And he is away and through. Oh, blimey, that is a really quick sector time out to Glen Helen. Let's pump that in there and see what we get. We get 136.648 Glen Helen to Glen Helen. He is inside outright lap record pace. Peter Hickman at Glen Helen on lap 2 of the Milwaukee Senior TT. This could be really special.
This is what happens when you don't talk about Peter Hickman all week and everybody else is winning races. This is absolutely incredible. He looked focused on the grid and ready to go, and he's always believed in that FHO BMW, and he said all along that there was more time in him on the bike if he had to. So thanks to everybody out there watching, Davy Todd's arrived and made Pete push on a little bit.
Yeah, and if he can actually do the 136.6 from grandstand to grandstand, that'll make the Isle of Man TT races the fastest road race in the world, beating the Dundrod lap time of 136.4.
Incredible. We keep going back to the fact that these guys have not had a lot of dry running. and that there's no rubber down on the track. So how is this possible?
And there's still damp patches on the circuit. We've got the advantageous position of like seeing the track through here through Glen Helen, and there's water sort of seeping out of the centre of the road, and just where you want it to, sort of leaned over on the edge of the tyre, getting the throttle, getting the power on, and there's water on the road.
That sensational sector time by Hickman out to Glen Helen has pushed the lead over 4 seconds. It is 4.8 seconds Hickman leads Todd by at Glen Helen on lap 2. Josh Brooks is having a fantastic ride on the big bike. We've waited for him to come through. He's had a bit of a truncated TT career, stop-start, but now he's getting a bit of a flow, and we're seeing a podium place potentially here for Josh Brooks.
Yeah, I think this has been in the making, to be honest. I've spoke about him for quite a long time. Everybody knows how good a short circuit rider is. He's a very thinking, methodical rider. You hear him even in interviews talking about the bike and when it's time to go and when it's time to push. So, yeah, we're seeing that right here today.
Dean Harrison continuing to hold on to 4th place at Glen Helen on lap 2. James Hillier in 5th. Then we wait for Mike Brown to arrive. He's holding 6th at the grandstand here at the end of lap 1. Then we've got Dominic Herbertson through. Michael Rutter, Rob Hodgson are also through as we get the first riders already. Dean Harrison is at Ballath, and already they'll be starting to think about that pit stop.
Yeah, we can see at this point Peter Hickman is caught on the back of James Hillier, and he's very, very close onto the back of Josh Brooks as well. So I believe by the time them guys get to Ramsey, Hickman will possibly be past Brooks, and that will probably tow him further away from Dean Harrison in 4th position.
Yeah, well, it's just all dependent. We saw in that first Superbike race, he sort of lost a couple of seconds over the mountain, maybe to when he was behind James Hillier in that race. So hopefully he can sort of get straight past him. But he sort of knows he's in a battle, but he knows he's not in a battle with Michael Dunlop.
It could be a perfect spot to catch Brooks, get the tow on the run down Sulby Straight. Do we have a caller to the pits, Chris Kinley?
Yeah, 27 is in Davy Datzer. Remember, he had a bit of an off earlier on this week as well. He looked a bit sore when I seen him walking to the paddock the other week. The rear stand goes in for David, and I think looking the way he's crouched over the bike there, I think he's absolutely all in for David Datzer. I think that will be it for him. I'm sure he's going to get a sympathetic round of applause from the guys on the grandstand there. Thank you, guys. The senior racing team, well done, David. Not sure if he's going to get going again. He gets a tap on the back from somebody in the shoulder there. It looks like Davy Datzer retirement.
Yeah, we had a bit of a mention earlier of all the mechanics down in pit lane looking really relaxed earlier on when it was a 2-lap race. I can confirm right now the guys down there do not look very relaxed. Everybody's pacing around, getting them fuel hoses ready to go and waiting for that first pit stop of this crucial race.
Yeah, Dean Harrison dropping further back off the back of Josh Brooks. He's now 5.6 seconds behind, but Dean will have no idea that Michael Dunlop at this point is out of the race, so I think it'll be a shock to him when he finds out when he comes into his pit stop and his crew tell him that he's sort of battling with third with Josh Brooks.
Absolutely, he's away out in front. Dean Harrison leading on the road, doing his own thing. We're totally reliant on the boards. But Peter Hickman at Ballath is 2.25 seconds in sound outright lap record pace. Is Ballath to Ballath is 136.772. He's pulled the absolute pin here. He will lose a couple of seconds coming into the pits, but this is still very much on.
Didn't think we needed any more records this week after the week that we've had, but I don't think Pete was happy with Michael getting all the fanfare, so he's definitely turned up today and put a show on for that massive crowd that there is out there. So yeah, we don't know if we'll get some shots soon to see if he's through clearly on both Josh Brooks and
how much is this prime Pete Hickman though? Like, you come into the final race of the fortnight, and when the chips are down and sort of you've had the back against the wall, you sort of show that you're the man.
Absolutely. Let's get then at Ballath Bridge. It's gone out, as you said, to 8.3 seconds. Patrick Hickman leads Todd by 8.3. He's stretching away sector by sector. His teammate Josh Brooks is then in third place, 19 seconds down on Todd, and that is 5.6 seconds up on Harrison, who is out front on the road doing his own thing. James Hillier is then 17 seconds down on Harrison. We flick back to Glen Helen to get some of the later starters in, and it is in fact we don't, because they've moved on already. We've got Dean Harrison at Ramsey Hairpin, but Mike Brown shows 7th at the lap. Sean Anderson shows 8th, then 9th for Dominic Herbertson, 10th for Rob Hodgson, and 11th for Michael Rutter. All of those guys starting in the teens. So Harrison and McGuinness are through Ramsey Hairpin. We await our front three.
Yeah, we've seen in a shot there that Dominic Herbertson has passed Sean Anderson back, or not Sean Anderson, sorry, he's passed Rob Hodson back on the road, although he's still 10 seconds ahead of him, but he's jumped that spot back in front of him again there on the road. As you see Josh Brooks come in now to Ramsey Hairpin. There's no sign of Peter Hickman at this point, so Pete must already be through on Josh Brooks.
Waiting for Hickman to arrive.
No, he's not. He's not arrived.
The fact is, he missing. Has Peter Hickman gone missing at Ramsey on lap 2? No sign of Hickman. Davy Todd is the new leader of the Milwaukee Senior TT. Todd leads Brooks by 19.8 seconds at Ramsey on lap 2. No sign of Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman not made it to Ramsey Hairpin on lap 2 of the Milwaukee Senior TT. We've lost Michael Dunlop. Jamie Coward didn't start. We've now lost Peter Hickman, it would seem. So Todd inherits the lead from Brooks. Dean Harrison is up to 3rd. Then it will be James Hillier, then John McGuinness, then Mike Brown, Sean Anderson and Nathan Harrison into 8th. Dominic Herbertson 9th, Rob Hodson 10th. Oh no, this is drama for Hickman.
Yeah, he was pushing on there, so it'll be interesting if we can get some information through as to what's actually going wrong. I'm surprised we haven't seen that on one of the camera shots or coming through. So yeah, that's massive frustration for the Peter and the FHO team.
Yeah, heartbreak for two of the most favourite contenders of this race now. So it leaves sort of Davy Todd out front with Josh Brooks. I mean, we wouldn't have expected Josh Brooks to be lying in 2nd place halfway through the race at this point. So yeah, amazing job by Josh, and for 8.4 seconds ahead now of Dean Harrison.
Yeah, really, he's riding really strong, and it'll be interesting now to see when these guys come into the pits. Obviously, they're going to get relayed all this information. We get position on a pit board, Patrick, but we don't actually know who it is and where they are and things like that. So the guys will come in, and you'll see Chris will be down there talking or trying to listen and see what information each rider is exactly getting at that point and who's coming and how much they need to push.
David Todd here has inherited a huge lead. Then, coming up over the mountain for the 2nd time. They've got the pit stop still to do, but that Milwaukee BMW team, they have a win already in the bank from the Superstock TT earlier this week. They know what they're doing with the pit stops. Philip and Hector Neal will be on the case down there for the pit stops, and it'll be a case of just getting Davey in, getting him out, doing what they need to do, and being sensible.
Yeah, obviously in the first race we had that issue when they couldn't get the bike to start again, so let's just hope all that goes cleanly. But I believe Davey will already have had this information given to him. We normally have a pit stop coming out of the gooseneck, and that is probably the pit board guys at that point will already have heard that Hickman did not make it to that point.
Yeah, I think once Davey came through and saw that pit board saying P1, having the previous one saying P2 -8, saying P1 plus 18 was it? I think it'll sort of take a few seconds to sort of process what's actually happening there, and it'll be a welcome sight.
News on Peter Hickman, he's come off at the Ginger Hall. The rider is up and walking, so that's good news. Peter Hickman has come off at the Ginger, but he is up and walking.
Yeah, that's good news. That's all we need to hear. So yeah, the other trouble is when sometimes you get a pit board, Patrick, and if it's not one of your own actual guys and someone's put it out, you will second guess that board because you'll think, oh, maybe it's not for me, it's the wrong board, it's somebody else. So then that takes a bit of your concentration away as well, because you're like, you don't exactly know where the information is. So depending on if that was one of Davey's own pit boards or it was another competitor's board trying to help him out.
Yeah, it's always going to take sort of a minute to sort of process until you actually see one of your own guys with your own pit board, until you come down into the pits, which he's well on the way now, just coming through the bungalow section. Yeah, it's sort of going to take a minute or two to process, but a welcome sight nevertheless, I would have thought there. And yeah, great news there that Peter Hickman is up and okay.
Let's go a little bit further down the leaderboard if we can. We've got, as we say, Hillier holding on to 4th behind the front three of Todd, Brooks and Harrison, then John McGuinness in 5th. Mike Brown is in 6th, 7th for Sean Anderson, 8th for Nathan Harrison, 9th for Dominic Herbertson, 10th for Rob Hodson, 11th Paul Jordan, 12th for Michael Rutter, and 13th for Ian Hutchinson. Off those through Ramsey. We flick on to the bungalow because we have the front three through the bungalow now. The lead has stayed at that 19-second mark. Well, it's come down by half a second from 19.8 to 19.3. Todd has a commanding lead here. Lap 2 of this Milwaukee Senior TT, but it's not even half distance. Todd leads Brooks. Then Dean Harrison is 11.7 seconds down on Brooks in 3rd. Then James Hillier is 18.8 seconds down on Harrison in 4th. Then John McGuinness, having a fantastic run, is in 5th, 11.9 seconds down on Hillier. And then we must wait for these later riders as we see James Hillier, I think it is, going through the Craig. They're on their way back here. Dean Harrison is already at Cronknamona. We'll have the leading riders here for the all-important pit stops very shortly.
Yeah, we did actually just see there that David Todd did have a pit board just coming out of Craig Nabar saying P1 plus 19. So if that's the second board that he's seen, he's known that the first one won't have been a mistake. And yeah, very, very welcome sight, I would have thought there.
Yeah, we've got the Honda guys of Dean Harrison right outside our pit box, or outside our commentator box here, just beside the podium. So yeah, we can get a good look at them straight away, as Dean's obviously going to be the first rider on the road. And in, we're trying to see Davy Todd's guys are just a little bit to the right. We can see their Milwaukee overalls. They're waving at us as the RI guys giving us a little wave off the bottom as well. So yeah, at least they're quite spread out in the pits as we
get the signal for Dean Harrison's arrival. Let's get down to Chris Kinley.
Dean Harrison in then, first man on the road into the old stop box there, drops down to 60 kilometres an hour and burbles his way past the Z now. So looking back to Cronknamona, Davy Todd's lead is over 20 seconds. It's 20.010. Claxon goes twice. Should be John McGuinness in next to this on the number 1 bike. The rear wheel is just out just about now at Dean's machine. And here comes your race leader in. Davy Todd is in. Dean Harrison's in, John McGuinness is in, so are we going to see Davy Todd get a super stock and a superbike double? And there he is, Josh Brooks, he's pulled it down a bit, a second and a half of it, 18.699, we're keeping a little eye, you can hear the ratchets go in the background there, the rear wheel's already just out of Davy Todd's machine. It's going to be quick here now because there's a couple of seconds could be lost in the pits or gained. Number 5, Hillier is in next, holding on to provisional 4th at the moment through Cronknamona and also at the grandstand. So Todd, we've got Harrison already just going there now. McGuinness is in, the rear wheel goes into John McGuinness's factory Honda there, just struggling to get it in there at the rear, just won't go into the locator. There it goes now, it drops in, the chain drops onto the sprocket, and here we go, your race leader. I tell you what, that's a pretty good pit stop, as always by the Milwaukee team, and he is in and away. So Harrison leads on the road, then it's Todd, and it's McGuinness who's going to be going next, and Hillier. Slow stop for Brooks' team. We'll keep a little eye on that. Let's give you the pit stop ones. Davy Todd 52.6. Josh Brooks losing a bit of time there, I think. Harrison 53.7. McGuinness' time 106.4. Josh Brooks 59.2. So you can work that out for yourself. That's another 6.6 seconds for Davy Todd coming into the pits there now. As you hear the klaxon go once more. Here's Hutchie on the Malenko by Padgett's bike. He slots into provisional, where's he, about 6th at the moment on the road through Cronknamona. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 machines. Let's give it to Chris Boyd just to tidy up those laps.
Absolutely. Let's get you the lap 2 information on the way into the pits. If we can, just bring the right screen up on the system here. And it was for Davy Todd. If we get them in the right order here, who obviously takes the lead of the race. 134.769 miles per hour for Davy Todd. 134.056 for second place, Josh Brooks. Then Dean Harrison, 132.445. 132.078 for James Hillier. 130.901 for John McGuinness. And in terms of the race, it was the Davy Todd pit stop of 52.6. Josh Brooks was 59.2. So the lead has gone out from 18.7 to 25.3. But Josh Brooks' lead over Dean Harrison, who did a 53.7 pit stop, has dropped to 10 seconds from 15 seconds. So and then Hillier, he's done a 53.6. So that will stay more or less the same. 19.9 seconds between Harrison and Hillier, with John McGuinness dropping away with that 66-second pit stop.
It was. I didn't really see what happened in John McGuinness's pit stop. It looked like the rear wheel was a struggle to get. Obviously, the quick release rear spindle and locators on the rim, and it just looked like it wouldn't slot into place. So the guy was struggling to get the chain back on. So yeah, it's unfortunate that for John. He's going really strong there, and to lose sort of, how much did he lose? 10 seconds almost in the pits. So yeah, it's frustrating that when you come out and you see that someone that you entered the pits before, and when they pass you in the pits and leave before you, yeah, it's frustrating.
Let's get more pit stop action. Chris Kinley.
Mike Brown currently holding to 5th position behind James Hilly, 11.3. John McGuinness is, let's have a little look at that, only 0.862 back in 6th place. Sean Anderson, who's in the pits at the moment, 22 seconds back in 7th. Dominic Herbertson also in the pits at the moment. He's in at 8th place, 7.6 back off Anderson. Rob Hodson also in there in the SMT Honda. He's in 9th, 12 seconds back. And Michael Rutter's also in the pits at the moment, but he's going to be usurped by Nathan Harrison. He won't be too far away. Here's the Manx rider here on the 3rd factory Honda in the race. Goes down the middle of pit lane, and he's going to be stopping about halfway, 3/4 of the way down on the right hand side, and he will complete the top 10 for now. And we've got Rob Hodson now drops down to that 10th position, but Nathan Harrison holding on to 9th as we got Mike Brown going out of 5th position. For Mike Brown, let's see what sort of pit stop time he's done. Dominic Herbertson's team was 59.1, Rob Hodson 57.1, Ian Hutchinson 56.5, and Mike's Brown team, a bit of time loss there, 101.8, but the quickest in the pit stop, 52.625 for your race leader.
And a speeding penalty for Sean Anderson, 61.2 on the Classic Team Suzuki, a 30-second penalty for Sean Anderson, and you noticed, Lee, that Mike Brown has gone quicker again.
Yeah, he's done a 1:30.8 now on that Aprilia, so that is also coming into the pit, so I believe that would probably be a 1:31 lap, so we'll have to keep an eye on him on the last 2 laps now and see how on the last lap, sorry, and see if we can get into that 1:31 bracket, which is a big jump that coming from a 1:29.
He was 11.2 seconds down on Hillier in the battle for 4th. Brown currently holding on to 5th. Sean Anderson, with that penalty, will drop away from 7th, and that will mean Dominic Herbertson will move up, and then Nathan Harrison will probably move into the top 8 as well.
Josh Brooks must have found something drastic with this bike, or the setup or something between the last race and this one, because he's just done a 134 mile an hour lap, which is faster than he's ever gone before, and the fastest he was in practice was 131.5, so to find 2.5 miles an hour, that must have said some big changes, and it must be working really well for him.
Yeah, he has spoke all week about having the joy of being able to look at Peter Hickman's data, but looking at somebody's data and having to do the same thing is 2 completely different things. As we see him getting onto the back of John McGuinness now, so hopefully he doesn't lose too much time there and gets through cleanly on John.
Indeed, he'll need to find a spot to overtake him. As they went up into Sarah's cottage, he was right on McGuinness's rear wheel. So we wait for... Who are we waiting for to come through? We've got the front 3. I think we're waiting for Mike Brown to come through at Glen Helen, but at Glen Helen, after the pit stops, Davey Todd leads by 28.7 seconds. He's got this well in hand. He'll be getting good boards, you would imagine. 28.7 seconds Todd leads Brooks by, and then there's now only 9.1 seconds between Brooks and Harrison, who keeps nibbling back at that. We did think it had gone from 15 down to about 10 seconds. Well, Harrison's cut it again on the run out to Glen Helen. James Hillier is then 24.1 seconds down on Harrison in 4th.
Yeah, incredible show in this by Davey Todd. I know that the 2 people that we've spoke about all week, both in Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop, aren't in this race, but you have to race who's there and who's against you, and it's been a hard week for everyone and the machinery and everything, so these things do happen. But yeah, it's a really impressive ride this by Davey Todd.
Yeah, if you come into the TT and you asked him, if you told him that he was going to take a brace of wins at any one point, I think the races that he would choose would be the 2 big bike races, so the Superbike and the Senior.
Yeah, the Senior is the one that they all wait for. Well, they don't wait for it to happen at the end of the week, but it is the one that everybody wants to put the maximum effort in. It's the end of the week, everybody's fatigued, it's the most physical race or on the big bikes, and this is the one that everybody talks about, as we see Dean Harrison now come out through on the run out of Kirkmichael.
Absolutely, yeah, we see Davey Todd, as you say, flying through Kirkmichael out towards the petrol station, gets lots of cheers from the fans. He's got a massive lead here now, just front wheel jumps over the top of Rencullen 1.
Yeah, he's obviously in a good groove. He will have got the information now off the guys in the pits. Obviously the TAS team's a very, very long-standing team with a lot of information involved, and they know the right things to say to the riders. So yeah, he will have got all that information. That you will see Michael's out, you'll know Pete's out now, and he'll know exactly who he's racing and Josh Brooks. So he'll be able to control the race from here with no issues.
Yeah, such an incredible feeling to be so far out front and just seeing the pit board markers going up and like this lead extending. You can sort of get into a rhythm and not. You're still going fast, but you don't have to sort of push to the extremes that you would be if you're sort of if everybody else was sort of doing lap record pace. So a really, really good place for Davy Todd to be just a lap and 3/4 to go.
Yeah, we're obviously all the talk at the start of the second lap was the fact that Peter Hickman was going to break the outright lap record, but unfortunately that hasn't happened today. But we're possibly going to witness the first senior win for Davy Todd.
Let's get a little bit further down the leaderboard then. We know that Todd leads, Brooks leads Harrison, 4th place John McGuinness, 5th is James Hillier, 6th Mike Brown, 7th Rob Hodson, 8th Michael Rutter, 9th Sean Anderson. Rounding out the top 10 is Ian Hutchinson, 11th, 20th Dominic Herbertson, Nathan Harrison, Paul Jordan, Brian McCormack. Then Amalric Blanc is in 15th place, great ride by him. Michael Evans in 16th, Sam West 17th, Julian Trubber 18th, 19th Ryan Kringle, and his brother Jamie right behind him in 20th, 19th and 20th for the Kringle boys.
Going to be some conversations in that house tonight. So yeah, another awesome ride this by John McGuinness. If someone had said to him at the start of the week, albeit we've had two of the top guys out, but to be able to come around and possibly finish in 5th place in the senior TT is a credit to him and everyone around him that makes this happen.
Yeah, I was sort of speaking to him the other day, and he was sort of saying the sort of big bike races aren't sort of his thing anymore, like the 6 lappers, just because he says he's not as young and as fit as these top guys running. So this 4-lap race, it would sort of benefit him massively, just not having to do the extra 2 laps. But yeah, if he can pull this in 5th place, he'll be over the moon with that.
Dominic Herbert's in a retirement. Dominic is out at Crosby, and we understand that Hickey is now in the pub. And if that's at the Ginger, then he'll be up there with Glenn Irwin, who's up there doing hospitality stuff. So Hickey will be having a pint probably with Glenn.
Yeah, well, if he didn't hurt himself in the crash, he'll have sore ears listening to Glenn Irwin, so he'll do no harm in the pub. But yeah, that's a good thing to hear over the radio. He's obviously, no one wants to see anybody crash, but the fact that he's up and if he's able-bodied enough, and he'll definitely get some free drinks in there on the sympathy vote for falling off his motorbike.
Disappointing for Dominic Herbertson on the Burrows engineering machine, though, running it strongly in the top 10.
Yeah, a really impressive week for Dom. Obviously, he's had his first podium in the Super Twin race, and that's a small team from Northern Ireland. And they put a lot of effort in. John Burrows is a well-renowned road racer and has got a lot of experience. So I think Dom is benefiting from that greatly this week.
Todd is pushing on here. The lead is up over 30 seconds at Balaf on lap 3. Todd leads Brooks by 31.8 seconds. Dean Harrison is then just, it's still about the same, in fact it's gone out by half a second. 9.6 seconds down on Brooks, but that's probably the battle we're looking at. 9.6 seconds between 2nd and 3rd, Brooks and Harrison. James Hillier is then 25 seconds back on Harrison in 4th. Then John McGuinness shows in 5th at the moment, but we are waiting for Mike Brown, who shows 5th at Glen Helen.
Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for Josh Brooks for a few years now. Obviously, he took quite a big gap off. I believe, was it 4 or 5 years? Yeah, he took off. So who knows what he would have done or what he would have won if that hadn't happened. But obviously, that was his career path at the time, and the teams that he was riding for chose not to bring him here. But being back in this FHO team, and they're obviously very heavily involved in road racing, so it's the perfect place for him.
Yeah, we see him now on the run up to Ramsey Hareton. Oh, he's out to the right out to the edge on the run up through Stella Maris.
Yeah, Dean Harrison's got 44 seconds behind David Todd, the leader, so David Todd will just be 6 seconds behind Dean Harrison on the road now, so he'll be able to see him on most parts of the circuit, and it'll just sort of help him sort of reel him in and sort of get onto the back of him.
Mike Brown is confirmed as 5th place at Balaf, then 6th John McGuinness, 7th Rob Hodson, 8th Michael Rutter, 9th Sean Anderson in 10th place. Ian Hutchinson off the 10 riders through Balaf at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what would be more impressive for Mike Brown's team, the fact that he was on the podium already today in 3rd place in the Super Twin race, or the fact that he's going to possibly have a top 5 finish on that Aprilia in the senior TT. So obviously, like we spoke all week, that is the first Aprilia here for a long time in the big bike classes. So they've come here with no data, no setup, absolutely nothing. So they're going from scratch. So it's a really good ride this from Mike Brown.
It is, and as Lee said, it was 130.8 he did on lap 2, so that bike is proving its pace around the TT course. We wait then for the guys through Ramsey Head, and we've got the front three, at least maybe the front four through Ramsey Hairpin. It is 32.3 seconds now. Todd's lead on the Milwaukee BMW from Josh Brooks as Monster Energy by FHO Racing BMW. Dean Harrison is then now 12.2, so Dean's dropped 2.5 seconds on the run from Balaf to Ramsey Hairpin to Josh Brooks. Josh was looking very racy when we saw him through Ramsey. Then James Hillier is now 27.1 seconds down on Harrison. Then we must await Mike Brown, who holds fifth. Then John McGuinness in sixth, and Ian Hutchinson seventh. Of the riders through Ramsey Hairpin. As yet, we think Hutchinson will drop into about 12th or 13th on the actual leaderboard.
Yeah, I had a quick chat with Ian down on the grid. He seemed pretty happy with the progress he's made this week, going mile an hour per mile an hour, just trying to chip his way back into feeling confident. Obviously, the big crash he had in Tessin and Spain, and he spoke about that in the interview. And for anybody that doesn't know, he pretty much jumped off the motorbike at 160 or 70 mile an hour. So yeah, if anything was going to take some confidence out of you, that would. So yeah, good to see him back and getting back into the swing of going around the TT.
Yeah, that's the kind of last thing you need, sort of when you're coming back from an injury or any kind of illness or anything like that. You don't need any sort of big setbacks, and I think it's sort of setting back quite in a big way, you know, just to sort of get back on the bike and sort of build that confidence back up where nothing's going to go wrong, but sort of not your fault.
Harrison then is being caught by Todd for the lead on the road. Todd is literally maybe 2 seconds behind Harrison as they run up out of the bungalow, up Halewood Heights in towards the right-hander that'll then take them into the big left-hander that is the Brandywell Junction, and then on to the 32nd and Dukes from there on the run down towards Windy Corner. We see Todd now through that Brandywell Junction. He's definitely closing on Harrison on the road.
Yeah, just a couple of seconds behind now, and you know, he'll use it like a gauge and a carrot, and like Dean's not going as fast as what he maybe would be hoping to round here, but it'll be a great sight for David Todd there, just sort of being able to sort of nibble in at that and just sort of tag onto the back of him, and then he'll use the power of the BMW to sort of get past.
Yeah, I was talking to Zine earlier on, and they made quite a big rear end setting to that motorbike, so it looks like now that setting hasn't worked for them. Obviously he's a few mile an hour down on what he even did in the start of the week, so yeah, it's a little bit frustrating for them. But obviously, being a new bike and a new team to Dean, this is what you have to do. You have to learn, and you have to sort of sometimes commit to a setting just to see. And unfortunately, today it hasn't worked out. But by the looks of things, they're still going to get on the podium.
Yeah, and this is what people maybe don't fully understand. Like, if you lose track time during the week in practice week, it sets you on the back foot right from the very start. And if you're trying to chase a setup, it can take you all the way to the senior race to try and get somewhere near, and you end up trying something quite drastically different that might not work out.
Todd going for a pass on Harrison as they come down from Kate's Cottage to Craignabar. Todd pulls out to the right-hand side, gets into the braking zone. Harrison just takes it nice and steady behind him. Harrison, I think, almost gave that one up, but has now lynched right onto the back of Todd. He'll want to keep that toe as long as possible. So Davey Todd now leads the road on both the leads on the road and in the race. At the bungalow was up to 34.5 seconds over Josh Brooks for Davey Todd. Then Dean Harrison 13.6 seconds down on Brooks. So these leads are just stretching out sector by sector as we see Brooks come through Craignabar.
Yeah, that Milwaukee BMW put some space into that Honda of Dean Harrison straight away on the run out from the Craig. So yeah, both these BMWs of FHO and Milwaukee are probably been the fastest bike through the speed trap all week, we would say.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like you were saying about Dean Harrison not fighting it, he sort of started 40 seconds ahead of David Todd on the road. So if he knows that David Todd's coming through, he knows by this stage of the race he's already 40 seconds behind him.
Absolutely, James Hillier, the next man through the Craig, but we have our front two through Cronknamoda on the road, at least Davey Todd and now Dean Harrison, who is right behind him on the road. Harrison is trying to stick with him as best he can, despite Lee say there's a bit of a gap already appearing. We'll have them across the line here fairly soon to head out onto the final lap of TT 2024. It's Davey Todd's race to lose this, but you never count your chickens at the TT, as we've seen already this week. 35 odd seconds it will be. Todd is about to flash past us here at the TT Grandstand in glorious sunshine. Racing superbikes in sunshine on the Isle of Man. Here they go, Todd and Harrison. Way off off to the top of St Ninians and down the fearsome Bray Hill, up over Agos and away onto the final racing lap of TT 2024. We'll await Josh Brooks to come through to get the end of lap indication on the lead for Todd. It's going to be well over 30 seconds, I think, maybe nearly up to 40. We're pushing that way. It's 35.8 to the moment. There he is. Brooks heads out onto his final lap, and it has gone out to 35.8. It is that Davy Todd leads Josh Brooks by, heading out onto lap 4 of the Milwaukee Senior TT. Dean Harrison then is 15 seconds down on Brooks. As we next see John McGuinness go through, he's away onto his final lap of another TT race. The lap 3 times, of course, include the pit stops. Davy Todd 128.081, Dean Harrison 126.096, Josh Brooks 126.04, John McGuinness 122.841, and James Hillier is through and onto his final lap 124.874 on lap 3 for him.
Yeah, obviously really impressive showing here, seeing Dean get on the back of Davy Todd. And I didn't realise the gap was right up to 15 seconds, but before I heard that, I was going to say maybe Davy could pull Dean back onto the back of Josh Brooks, but I think 15 seconds is a little bit too much to ask for on the last lap, Patrick.
Yeah, 15 seconds, it may not sound like a lot on a 37 3/4 mile circuit, but these guys are all so far on the edge and on the limit of what they can sort of push each other. 15 seconds, it really is quite a huge gap. So, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. If David Todd doesn't sort of back it off now and sort of, if he's in a rhythm at that pace and he can sort of get going, and sort of any problem at all with Josh Brooks, and that'll pull Dean right into contention.
Yeah, we just seen going through Ballagary there, Davy has in fact put some time into Dean already, so I don't know, it could be an issue. We've seen Dean after the first Superbike race that he literally wore through the handlebar grips on that Honda, wrestling the thing round. So yeah, it's he's obviously seen his pit board and seen there's a gap back to 4th position, and he'll probably settle in for that 3rd position on the podium now.
Yeah, probably, but David Todd, 35-second lead. It's quite a big lead, but that's the kind of lead where you can sort of just not push it so much and just sort of run your lines, not try and outbrake yourself, but it's where you start hearing noises from the engine. You hear every sort of noise every time your helmet sort of taps on the tank. You're thinking that it's a noise coming from somewhere else. So all these things will start running through his mind at about this point, I reckon.
Ian Hutchinson, the latest rider, away and out onto the final lap of TT 2024, 121.134 for him. They are the only riders, I think, that we've had through Cronknamona. No, we now get Mike Brown arriving at Cronknamona, and he does hold on to that 5th place. At Cronknamona, Todd Brooks, Harrison, Hillier, the same order through here at the end of lap 3. Then Mike Brown slots into 5th, but he's 26.4 seconds down on Hillier and only 3.8 seconds ahead of John McGuinness. So there still is potentially a battle on there for 5th place between Brown and McGuinness. They are 52.4 seconds ahead of Rob Hodson, who's holding on to 7th, with Michael Rutter showing in 8th, only 1.2 seconds down on Hodson. So a couple of battles to watch out for here on the sort of 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th positions on the leaderboard. Sean Anderson shows in 9th, and he's only 1/4 of a second down on Rutter. So there's a big battle raging for 7th, 8th and 9th. Only 1.5 seconds between Hodson, Rutter and Anderson, with Ian Hutchinson then the other man to have showed through Cronknamona. So there are still battles raging on this leaderboard.
Yeah, that is really impressive, and obviously them guys will have to be really sharp on watching their pit board now going on to this final lap, because any little lapse in concentration or anything like that, like we said, a second or a second and a half is nothing on a 37 3/4 mile. But yeah, it's interesting to see these guys coming in, and they're obviously all, like Patrick said, they're all pushing at their absolute maximum. So sometimes when fatigue sets in a little bit now on the last lap of a superbike race, it's this is where you really have to dig deep and get stuck in.
Yeah, it is. It's the same for everybody, but normally this would be a 6-lap race. But I don't know if anybody's seen the onboard lap of Davy Todd with like the rider's eye view. It just sort of reiterates a kind of attention and concentration that you need. And the onboard lap is just 1 lap, and this is a 4-lap race. It's a big, long race, and to keep concentration for so long, it's testament to all these guys that are out there.
Yep, Davy Todd is out through Glen Helen, and the sector time Glen Helen to Glen Helen lap, so we're taking out the pit stop, is 135.1 pace. So we know there's probably more capability in that BMW, but he's probably getting the signals to tell him he's got this race under control.
Yeah, and the other factor is when you're used to riding at a level all week and your concentration is set at that level, sometimes when you take 5-10% off, you actually like end up losing a little bit of concentration and starting thinking about things you shouldn't be thinking about, that you would never normally think about, because you're fully focused on the job at hand. So it is a double-edged sword. You have to keep pushing and keep that focus in. But Davey's a very accomplished motorbike racer. He's won quite a few races right now. Even this year he's won quite a few races. So, and he's already had the privilege of winning his first TT this week.
The lead has gone up over 40 seconds at Glen Helen on the final lap, lap 4 of this Milwaukee Senior TT. 41.1 seconds Todd leads Brooks by. Brooks is then 13.5 seconds up on Harrison. So Harrison's had 1.5 seconds or so back on the run out from Grandstand to Glen Helen. But that lead is, that gap between Brooks and Harrison has been fairly stable for the last few sectors or so. James Hillier then holds on to 4th place on the WTF machine, 34.8 seconds down on Harrison. And then we wait for Mike Brown with John McGuinness also through Glen Helen. And 4th place would be a really good result for James Hillier.
Yeah, well, I think it'd be a shame for him not to come away with a podium, to be honest. You know, we've not seen him ride this good for a couple of years now, but he's got on that WTF Honda and he's sort of fitted in really well with the team, and he's in a happy place and he's riding really well, and I don't think a 4th place really sort of gives justice to how well he's actually going.
We can hear on the live stream that Davy Todd is already getting an ovation out through Kurt Michael. Get the programmes waving for Davy Todd as he goes round this final lap. It's been quite a performance to lead by over 40 seconds through Glen Helen on lap 4. We're going to try and look a little bit further down the leaderboard. We know that Todd leads Brooks and then Harrison in 3rd, Hillier 4th, Mike Brown in 5th, John McGuinness 6th. Then we're going to have Nathan Harrison, I think, up to 7th, Rob Hodson in 8th, Paul Jordan 9th, Sean Anderson 10th, despite his 30-second penalty in the pit lane. Michael Rutter shows in 11th. In 12th, it'll be Brian McCormack, then Julian Trummer in 14th, then Ryan Kringle 15th, Mikey Evans 16th, and then we'll move on to the rest of the top 20. Sam West, Jamie Kringle, Matt Stevenson and James Chalk, all in contention for top 20 finishes on this senior TT.
Yeah, really impressive. We're just watching John McGuinness run out through Kirk Michael there. And he's such an economical style. He looks so relaxed on the bike. If you were going to, as a young rider wanting to come and race at the TT, regardless of the success he's had here, but just to look at that riding style and say this is what you need to do to go fast around this track.
Yeah, he sort of uses the big old wide lines. It's sort of a little bit old school, really, just using all the road, but it's all controlled, it's all calculated, so running white line to white line. It really is beautiful. But what an absolute beautiful spot to be in for Davy Todd right now. He's sort of, everything's sweet and running well, and you know you're in a good spot when you're sort of not pushing hard and just going out and just riding your bike, and you're seeing that lap time increase and the gap to second place just going out further and further.
It was a tea time start for the Milwaukee Seniors ET, but you're riding your bike, Lee, in glorious sunshine on the Isle of Man on a superbike race.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better. I think he's on a Milwaukee Shaw BMW sponsored by a Milwaukee Senior TT race, so he's turned out to be the sponsor's dream today. So if that Milwaukee guy's down there listening now, I reckon Davy Todd's in for a little bit of a bonus.
He's just passing the Ginger right now. Peter Hickman will be looking on and know that Davy Todd has this pretty much in hand.
Yeah, like Peter Hickman's is a pretty classy guy. I'm sure he's out there just sort of raising his beer to him. I'll give him a little clap as he goes past, because yeah, he is a really classy guy, and he's great like that.
He's either that or he's putting a few beers on Davy's name in the tab in the pub and saying he'll pop round after he collects his prize money in about 20 minutes time. So yeah, Pete is. We heard him on the first interview in the Superstock race. He says, listen, we went toe to toe, and Davy was better than me today. So yeah, he's a class act, is Peter Hickman.
Let's just zero in on these battles that are raging for 5th. Mike Brown's lead over John McGuinness at Glen Helen on lap 4 is 1.4 seconds. Brown holds 5th, McGuinness in 6th. Then behind that, we've got Nathan Harrison dropping into 7th, Sean Anderson in 8th, and there's only 3 seconds between Anderson and Hodson, and half a second between Hodson and Rutter. So that is the battle for 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, we're watching Rutter right on the back of Mike Brown here, so I think this could possibly tow Rutter away from Sean Anderson in Rob Hobson in this group. So yeah, Mike Brown's going to do Michael Rutter a favour here, I believe.
Yeah, and Sean Henderson 9.8 seconds behind Nathan Harrison, but with a 30-second penalty for that pit stop infringement. It just goes to show that these guys are running so close to the 60 km/h limit, and if you go over slightly, it's really not always worth the risk.
See, the leading riders are up into Ramsey through Parliament Square. It is Davy Todd picking up past the bus station to the bottom of May Hill. He'll then slot it up May Hill. Wow, far out is he going to go? He's leaving a little bit, quite a bit there actually. A run into Whitegate, so you would suggest that he's got the boards that tell him it's all well under control. He just about clips the line at Whitegate, where it's sometimes right over it. He's leaving plenty of room on the run up through Stella Maris into the braking zone at Ramsey Hairpin. This is a well-controlled ride by Davy Todd as we see Dean Harrison, the next man, up through Ramsey.
Yeah, really impressive ride by Davy Todd. And at this point now, as like Patrick said earlier on, you'll be starting to hear noises and stuff that you don't want to hear on the bike, and just willing this bike to get back to the start and finish line.
Josh Brooks then, second place man, he arrives as well. He's leaving a fair amount of room through Stella Maris as well. So maybe these riders are aware of the situation of the race, that there are fairly big gaps between each of them. Todd now leads Brooks by 43 seconds it is at Ramsey on the final lap, and there's then 18.4 seconds between Brooks and Harrison. And if Harrison comes away with a double podium in the big bike races at TT 2024, that is a really good start to his Honda career.
Yeah, you would have to say with the way Honda came into this event, with the troubles they've had at the start of the year and what they had at the Northwest 200, you'd say they would take this all day long. And also, I think Josh Brooks, if you'd have told him this morning that he was going to finish second in the senior TT today, he would have been absolutely over the moon. As we see James Hillier just giving a little wave to the fans there on the run at Ramsey Hairpin.
Yeah, even Dean Harrison at the start of this TT on the very first night of practice, he had sort of an engine blow up, so he was sort of behind on the back foot right from the very start, having no running at all on the superbike in the Northwest, and then coming into here and. Yeah, if you could tell him that he'll come away with a brace of podiums, I think he'll be more than happy with that.
Rutter has overhauled Hodgson, as you suggested, looking at the lower end of the leaderboard through Balaf. Brown is holding on to 6th. John McGuinness is up to 5th, so I think McGuinness has overhauled Brown there for 5th place. So it's here Todd, Brooks, Harrison, Hillier, then McGuinness now in 5th. Mike Brown slips to 6th, 2.2 seconds behind McGuinness. Nathan Harrison in 7th, 46 seconds off Brown, but only 7.2 seconds ahead of Sean Anderson, who obviously has the pace in that Suzuki, because obviously he had the 30-second penalty and he's only 7 seconds behind Harrison. He is then 7 seconds up on Rutter, who has overhauled Rob Hodgson by just 0.6 of a second, and it's then only 2.5 seconds back to Paul Jordan, who's in the top 10, Lee.
Yeah, good result for Paul on that Jackson Racing team. But yeah, really impressive this by Michael Rutter. Obviously, we've had his 30th anniversary this week and the lap earlier on. So yeah, for him to be running this strong inside the top 10 on the senior, he has to be. I know him and John have a bit of a crack about being here for a long time, but yeah, really impressive ride by him in that BFM's team.
Davy Todd then is through. Casey's on the run down into the Black Hut and then out onto the veranda. Less than 10 miles to go for Davy Todd. He's on a ride to glory on the Milwaukee Senior TT. He's through the bungalow, taking the reception from the crowd. They're all cheering for Davy Todd on the Milwaukee BMWs on the run up Halewoods Heights in towards the Brandywell Junction, as Dean Harrison also through the bungalow. But Davy Todd is out there alone in terms of both the leaderboard and on the road. He has this all to himself to soak it all up, take it all in as he makes his way down from the mountain on the final lap of TT 2024. Josh Brooks, second place man, also through the bungalow. Let's wait for the time to flash up, see what it's gone at. It's 42.3, so he has just nibbled half a second back. It makes no difference really whatsoever. Todd leads by 42.3, and then Brooks is 22 seconds ahead of Dean Harrison in 3rd.
Yeah, obviously this could not be any more comfortable for him on his first senior TT win to be looking at these pit boards probably pretty much the whole of the last lap and even half of the second last lap, to have that massive lead and the pressure relieved off you, and he's out there enjoying riding his motorbike, and we all know he speaks about it all week, how much fun he has on when he's riding this Milwaukee BMW. So yeah, he's going to be out there, and I know rightly he'll be smiling inside that helmet right now as we see Michael Rutter and Sean Anderson come into sight here into Ramsey.
Yeah, we'll get the next leaderboard update on the battle they're all having at the bottom end of the top 10. But for Davy Todd, this is a ride to glory. We see him coming down to Cregnabar. The crowd are going absolutely wild out there in the sunshine. We can hear the applause that Davy Todd is taking, and all the way away. He's got the board showing him P1 plus 42. No better sight than that, Lee.
No, and you can see the reception he's getting right now. This crowd knows how hard Davy's worked in the last few years to get to this point, and even the show he's put on so far this week. So yeah, credit to him and to the whole Taz Milwaukee BMW team down there.
Yeah, it'll be at this stage now, he'll sort of be thinking he's only a few miles from home, just coax the bike home, hopefully don't run out of fuel, don't make any mistakes, just keep all your nice lines intact, and yeah, just get this bike back over the start-finish line here at the grandstand.
Josh Brooks screwed almost off the bike there with his backside as he takes the adulation of the fans coming down from Cregnabar, but it's through the left-handers at Cronknamona for Davy Todd. He's into the braking zone for Signpost Corner. He'll drop down to Bedstead, into the left-hander at Bedstead, as we see John McGuinness come through Cregnabar. He'll be down into Bedstead, through Bedstead and down into the top of the Nook, flick through the right-hander onto the road that is only used by the TT riders. The public don't get to use it. He takes that flick right-hander now into the Nook, down to the top of Governor's Bridge. He comes into the braking zone at Governor's Bridge. He's got to get the BMW wrestled over around Governor's into the dip after 4 laps. That's hard work coming into the stopping zone down there. He's into Governor's dip. We're about to see him emerge onto Glen Crutchley Road, and it'll be the rock star Davy Todd is on to Glen Crutchley Road to claim victory in the senior Milwaukee Senior TT. Here he is. Nice big wheelie across the line. Fantastic. A second win of the week for Davy Todd. His breakthrough year at TT is TT 2024. It's also a 5th podium of the week. That is a tremendous week's work.
Yeah, super impressive stand-up wheelie on there, coming past on the start-finish line, and then as he went down the return road, he did a big old stoppie, and we can see now he's doing a burnout for the crowd down there. Huge congratulations to Davy Todd on winning his first ever senior TT.
Dean Harrison and Josh Brooks have both finished as well, so it is second place for Josh Brooks on the Monster of Energy by FHO BMW. 39.0 seconds the difference between Todd and Brooks, and Dean Harrison claims the podium on the Honda. 26.2 seconds down on Brooks. Let's get down to Chris Kinley for their arrival in the winners enclosure.
Oh, he's here, and he's just been stopped short. His Milwaukee team absolutely crowd him out, and there Dean Harrison drops in the 3rd place. He'll be happy with that on the factory Honda. Switches it off, but here he is, the Milwaukee. Oh yeah, have a little bit of that. The Milwaukee boys are straight in there in the Milwaukee red overalls, and as Lee said, how nice is that for Milwaukee sponsoring the senior TT to have their Milwaukee rider bring the machine home. Let's give you the numbers then at the end. 39 seconds was the win for Davy Todd over Josh Brooks in 2nd place. Great first Superbike podium or senior TT podium, the 2nd one for Josh Brooks, and 26.2 back was Dean Harrison. James Hillier in 4th, 37 seconds back, and here comes Josh Brooks, the Australian rider. Don't think he'll be able to believe this one. And he's quite happy with that, with the Monster Energy by FHO team straight over to him as well. And you see Philip Neal and the guys going over to the Milwaukee guys and saying, well done. And we'll just jump in. And this is the culmination of everything, really. Give us those last laps, Boydie, for the boys. I know Josh Brooks not as fast as what he's done on previous laps.
Just picking those up for Josh Brooks, 133.206 and 133.627 for Davy Todd.
Thank you very much. That's the pace dropped off a little bit. I think they were kind of managing it, and Hector Neal is in to see Davy Todd. It was, 2002 they had their first win as the TAS team on the big bikes with DJ. I think it was that far back anyway, and I'm going to maybe ask Hector that, and we'll get in and speak to Davy any second now. We'll just jump in past the guys and get his instant reaction here on Radio TT. But the Milwaukee boy straight in, Harvey from Honda straight in, shaking his hand. And the fans you can hear in the VIP thing have been in there all day, gives the BMW a bit of a tap as well. And Hector Neil Gilser gives it a tap as well. And Paul Phillips and the TT organisers also in as well. So super stock win and now a senior TT win. The Blue Band. And yeah, you can hear, just listen to some of the conversation that he's having there. We'll let him keep that to itself. Ian Hutchinson has also just come in on his lap as well. Hutchie in 6th place. I'm sure Hutchie would be very pleased with that on the Malenko by Padgett's bike. And we'll just get in. Denver and the guys just in the way then. I'm going to jump in past Hector in a second. We've done this a few times. Let him take his lid off. The cameramen are trying to get the shot. Davey Todd, everybody! Wowee. What a reaction. 2 TT wins on his name now. I'm sure there's going to be many, many more for the man on the Milwaukee bike. So we'll just jump in if we can, bud. Just jump in round. The fans are in the back and Hector's in as well. And we'll just jump in if we can. Hector, can I just jump in the Davey? It's lovely to see you, sir. DT, Davey Todd. Davey Todd, you are a senior TT winner.
Mate, that's something special right there, isn't it? Getting the first win earlier in the week in the Superstock race, but senior TT.
When you think of the history that Hector's got with the senior TT for the team and for Milwaukee, the team sponsor, perfect.
Mate, I come in and said to the boys there, it's all them. They built a fantastic bike, unbelievable. She's not missed a beat. Every single time I've been out there all season long, she's been an absolute flying machine. Handles like a dream, never missed a beat. I honestly got to give it up to the Milwaukee BMW Taz Racing team. What a team.
Lee Johnson reckons you're in for a bit of a bonus.
Maybe. I'll have to ask Dale at Milwaukee.
I'm sure they'll sort it out. Talk to the rest of the race. When you saw Michael go out, Hickey obviously had a bit of a tip-off at Ginger Hall. He's perfectly fine. He's in the pub with Glen Irwin having a few beers now. What were your thoughts on that when you got the board that said you were so far ahead as you congratulate Dean Harrison?
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't believe it. I just tried to pace myself a little bit at the beginning, keeping an eye on my pit boards a little bit. I didn't know if it was Michael or Hickey leading, but seen that little gap in front, and I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable to have a little fight back. My team were always absolutely like the best of the best in the pit stop. I knew I'd gain a bit of time back there and get my head down on the last 2 laps, and sure enough, I come into the pit stop and
6 seconds they got you in the pit stop. 6 seconds.
Honestly, the boys, the Milwaukee team are the best.
This is not going to sink in for a few days, is it?
I think it's going to take a while. I think I owe all the boys a couple of beers tonight.
I think you do as well. You are the senior TT winner, the Isle of Man TT 2024.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Thank you, mate. Well done, David. Brilliant stuff. Well done to Davey Todd. Let them get the cameras in there and get in. And we'll grab a word with Dean if we can. Dino, first year here for the factory Honda team. Must be mega pleased with the results. I know you want to be in the top step, but first year here with these boys. Well done, bud.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's been a good week. We've had 3 thirds and a second, so it's been a good week all round. I think there's more to come from the bike. I just don't think we found a really good setting, to be honest, with the big bike. So I think hopefully we can make it better next time.
Conditions out there were okay, pretty good.
Do you know what the conditions of the track also were really good, to be fair. It were dry as well. The only bit of damp the wall was the exit at Glen Ellen, but we knew that. So, but all the way around we're good. There's a little bit of sunshine, but it was just like an evening practice.
I make that your 5th senior TT podium, something like that,
yeah.
with a win in there too.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I know. I've always been there or thereabouts, so we'll keep trying.
Has he got a job next year, Hov?
I've to ask the boss.
I've to ask the boss. Not bad return for Dean here, first time in the Hondas, and John doing well, and Nathan also.
No, absolutely amazing. You know, Nathan there just taking a 7th, like I say, John in the 5th place, and Dean here third. Really pleased. Great progress, and more to come.
How many people are here on the Isle of Man? I mean, we've been doing this a long time. Bonkers.
It's mad, isn't it? You know, the weather's hasn't been on our side for sure for everybody, and all the fans and everybody staying here and supporting all the teams and riders. It's absolutely fantastic.
Good luck for the rest of the season, you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank
you, mate. Cheers. Thank you very much for that. And Josh is over here. I'm going to jump into Josh if we can. I think he's already done the TV bit. And Josh, has he done TV, Rob? Yeah, he's done TV. Josh, many congratulations. You've been on the podium before, but not on the big bike. And the quickest lap of 134.
Yeah, I knew this class was going to be my best chance. That's why I was, really down after the Superbike breakdown. So I've been waiting all week for this next chance, and I mean, I never expected to be. To be honest, I didn't expect to be on the podium with everybody else going so fast. So to come in second is like winning it. Honestly, I never expected to be here, but I did my best lap time by a long ways. I knew I had that in me, but it wasn't until we got a clear track and an opportunity to do it that I could show it. So I don't like to talk about things before they happen. So I was sort of holding my confidence quite to myself, and I'm just so pleased for everyone. The Monster Energy FHO BMW team, they've put in so much work this week, and I didn't know if there was going to be an opportunity to repay the work that they've put in, because they put in as much work, no, longer hours than us bike riders do. They don't get any of the credit they deserve. So I really thank them all for this.
What a TT race, though. Peter going out, unfortunately, having a bit of a tip off at Ginger Hall. He's thankfully okay. Michael Dunlop going out. Did you see Michael pull to the side of the road, top of Harewood?
Yeah, I did. I saw Michael pull to the side, so I knew he was out. I saw the marks on the ground at Ginger Hall, but I didn't realise it was Pete.
He's okay. He's in the pub with Glen Irwin.
Excellent. No, I'm thrilled that he's fine. There's nowhere I know here that you could come down safely, so I'm glad that he's okay. But I saw the marks on the track, and I was a bit confused as to where they'd come from. And marshals must have cleaned it up really quickly and kept the race going, which was great. But I mean, obviously it took a few people going out, but I did my best laps by a long way, and it all come together. I wish it went for longer, actually.
6 laps would be better. Back next year. Lots of Aussies here as well to support you on.
Honestly, it's been so good. I've been keeping myself away from the fans, trying to keep my head in a good place to try and do my best results, and I haven't been able to spend as much time with the fans as I'd like to, but I've felt like there's been a massive Aussie presence here. I've spent the last 17 years in the UK, so I feel like I belong here as well, but it's great to have the Australian fans here cheering us on. It really means a lot.
Second TT podium, your first senior TT podium, more to come.
Absolutely, I'm already can't wait for next year, and it's such a buzz. That last lap coming home with all the crowd waving the programs and cheering me on. It was weird. I've seen that before, but it was normally for someone that was coming past me, not for me directly. So it really felt like a buzz to be part of this, all that happens here.
Well done, Josh. Well spoken and well done.
No, thank you.
Well done, buddy. Cheers. Well done, Mucky. Cheers. Nice to see you. So Josh Brooks gets his position. Well done to Josh in that second place. Let's hear from Sean Anderson, who's with Beth.
Yeah, Sean Anderson, 8th place finish now. We did have that 30-second penalty in the pits. Do you know what happened there?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, we probably missed out a wee bit. I mean, everything's all's fair in love and war, but we probably missed out on a couple of warm-up laps to just double check it. I don't know what happened, whether when we put the new tyre in it was a wee bit taller or something silly, something daft like that, but home safe after, I would say, a shaky fortnight for a lot of people on the island, but it all came good in the end. Up my personal best to 130.7, so really chuffed for Nathan, Steve, all the boys, Andy, Tom, Zach, Hank back that have put all the bikes underneath me over the whole fortnight. I really, at least, will come away with a really good result here at the end. A little bit disappointing because me and Nathan, we always have a bit of a jibe at each other, just like over. I know he'll get me in the long run because he's a young pup, but to have a 32nd and him only beat me by 0.4, I'll definitely rub that one in a wee bit. But no, I just, like, organisers called it. They were patient. Conditions were near enough as good as they get out there, and low sun was starting to come into play, but they did everything that they could, so they're to be applauded for that. I'm really chuffed. I'm really thankful for everybody that's been involved, all the people that have come, posters, said hello, got signatures, whatever, all the marshals up in the mountain, all the marshals right round the course. Big shout out to them because they've had really long days, and yeah, thanks also to the broadcasting teams that keep us informed, let me jabber on after a race like this, and yeah, just really chuffed to at least come away with an improved personal best. So yeah, I'll see everybody in, I think, 9 weeks at the Manx, so I look forward to that, getting back on the mountain course, but thanks so much.
The countdown is on, and that 1:30 club certainly want to be part of. Enjoy your ice lolly now.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant stuff there, Sean Anderson. Thank you very much, Beth. Let's give you those lap 4 times. For Davy Todd, it was 16 minutes 56.471, so sub 17 with a 40-second lead. Fair play to Davy Todd on the BMW, the Milwaukee BMW, 133.627. We can see Hector Neal is down in the winner's enclosure again. Hector, such a man of road racing history, and obviously his son Philip running the team these days. What joy for the Milwaukee team down there in the winner's enclosure. Josh Brooks's final lap was also sub 17, 16 minutes 59.68, 133.206. Dean Harrison's was a 17-minute 10, 131.758. John McGuinness, 131.245, his fastest lap of the race, 17 minutes 14. James Hillier, 130.903. We do then need to pick up these battles that were raging at the bottom part of the top 10. So they were the top 5. Todd Brooks, Harrison, Hillier and McGuinness. Mike Brown got the Aprilia round, only 7.1 seconds down on McGuinness to take a 6th place finish. Nathan Harrison in 7th, and we think his fastest ever lap of the TT course on the final lap, 129.156 for Nathan. Congratulations to him. Sean Anderson, as we just heard from, 8th. Michael Rutter then was 10.5 seconds down on Anderson in 9th, and only 3.2 seconds up on Paul Jordan, who's finished 10th. We'll carry on down the leaderboard, but let's get back down to Beth.
Yeah, I'm just here with Ryan Kringle, 17th place finish, just ahead of your brother. Talk me through your TT24, Ryan, because you've not been feeling great.
Yeah, it's been a tough one. Like, we started the week with a brand new engine, started off with engine problems once again like last year, and I think the paddock's got plenty of stuff going around at the minute, and I've really struggled with. I think it's the dreaded what we all had a few years ago, but I don't know for sure. But I've had no get up and go with me. I've just had no go with me. When I put my head down, I've got massive headaches and stuff. So just wanted to. Everyone's put so much effort in for me to be here this year, and although that's not where I want to be and know what I can do, I just wanted to finish with the boys and say thanks to everyone for what they've done for me.
Honestly, considering how you've been feeling and how you must just not even want to be out there, that is absolutely incredible. Highs and lows of that race in general?
Again, like, because of the way my symptoms are at the minute, like, I can do the first lap, and I felt steady on the first lap, and lap time's not too bad considering I felt only steady, and then after that I'm worn out after the first lap, so I've just got to sit on it and do what I can from there on in. So it's a long 4 laps. I think if it went the full distance, I'd really struggle to finish it. But it was 4 laps. It's the same for everyone. I'm here to finish it. It's another TT ticked, and we'll have to make some amendments and try and come back next year and be stronger again.
And 15 seconds ahead of your brother. Will you be rubbing that one in?
Oh no. James had such a rough time as well, and to see that he's actually finished right behind that. His lap times, his first time here on a big bike to finish them race. They're incredible what he's done. He's done a good job, maybe if not better, to be honest with you. So I'm pleased to see he's actually had a good finish for once.
Oh, Ryan, we'll go and get well soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant, thanks Beth, and hopefully the Kringle boys start to feel better very soon. TT now done, and they will move on probably to the sub 100 next. Rob Hodson has finished in 11th place in the Milwaukee Senior TT, then Ian Hutchinson in 12th on the Malenko by Paget's Honda. Brian McCormack on the FHO BMW is in 13th, then Julian Trummer on the Jackson machine is 14th, 15th for Sam West, 16th for another of the locals, Mikey Evans. Then we know Ryan Kringle 17th, Jamie Kringle 18th. Jonathan Getchke has got himself a top 20 finish in 19th. So too James Chalk on the Suzuki in 20th. Eddie Fair, 21st, the Frenchman on the BMW from his compatriot Timothy Monet, who finishes 22nd. Joey Thompson is in 23rd. But we said Mikey Evans has had a fantastic ride to 16th. He's with Beth.
He certainly has. He is here now. Mikey, how was that for you?
Yeah, tricky. I thought I got going all right, and the boards were telling me otherwise, so it's a bit of a strange one. But yeah, we lost a little bit of time. Lost like 30 seconds in the pits, which is frustrating, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. It's part of the race, I guess. But yeah, last lap managed to pull a bit back. But yeah, I'm glad it's over, to be honest with you. Yeah, I've had enough of bikes for a while.
Has been a long 2 weeks. What is the plan next?
Recover physically, mentally, financially. Yeah, I don't want to see a bike for a while.
Oh, Mikey, great to talk to you. I just also want to mention you're a big supporter of the Joey Dunlop Foundation. You're able to give some money to them this week.
Yeah, definitely. I've done a bit of a competition for people to win and stuff, and part of the money that we got for that went to the Joey Dunlop Foundation, which is it's very good charity for it's helped so many people over the years with stuff. So it's try and keep something going.
Well, it's a great thing to do. Go and have a bit of a rest. You'll be back on a bike soon.
Thank you very much, Cheers.
Very well done to Mikey Evans. So we were down to Joey Thompson, who'd finished 23rd on the Yamaha. Alan Ventnor from South Africa, 24th. Stephen Parsons in 25th. 26th for Mark Parrott. 27th, Stefano Bonetti. Darrell Tweed in 28th. Erno Costamo finishes in 29th. Rhys Hardesty in 30th. Michael de Koppel in 31st. Then Baz Ferber gets a finish in 32nd. Jonathan Perry, 33rd. Tom Whedon, 34th. Tom Robinson in 35th. David Rigby, 36th. Mark Goodings, 37th. Newcomer Kevin Keys gets a finish. Congratulations, Kevin. He had a bit of a fraught start to his TT, but that's 2 weeks ago now. He's got himself a finish in the senior TT, 38th place. And our 39th and final finisher in the Milwaukee senior TT is Martin Morris. So we go from the bottom of the results to the very top of the results. Bring Lee and Patrick back in. What a day for Davey. A second TT win. What a week it's been for him. 2 TT wins, and what a week for the Milwaukee squad.
Yeah, obviously we can just see him on the TV screens now, all the team in there, and I suppose it's really special seeing Hector Neal in there. Obviously, the guys did an interview the other night, and I think it's 15 or 16 years from it was Cameron Donnell's first TT win with the same team. So yeah, the guys have got so much experience down there, and some of the staff are probably the same staff that was there then. But yeah, credit to Dave. He's rode unbelievable all week, and yeah, it looks like he's riding well within himself as well, and he's probably going to go back now to British Championship to win more races there. So he's absolutely flying this year.
Yeah, he came into this meeting sort of full of confidence and real happy in that team, and he's going to go away from here even more confident. So, yeah, it's looking well going forward, and them teams are happy. And Hector and Philip Neal do an amazing job. They've supported the TT for many years, and they sort of had a bit of a turbulent time a few years ago within the team, but they've come back here now with Davey, and just shown the whole world what they can do.
And the Monster Energy by FHO Racing Team, they would have expected Peter Hickman to be the one to deliver the result, but it's Josh Brooks, and a fantastic second place and a second TT podium for Josh.
Yeah, the whole team puts hard work in on whichever side of the garage it is. But yeah, Peter down there and his crew chief Mark Woodies, they'll be having a beer tonight and celebrating that. And 134 mile an hour on lap 2 there as well for Josh Brooks. So smashed his PB by quite a long way. So yeah, brilliant evening for that side of the garage this evening.
And a great result as well for the Honda squad. Dean Harrison takes the podium in 3rd, but John McGuinness finishes in 5th. Another senior TT top 6 for John McGuinness at 52 years old.
Yeah, really impressive ride that. And obviously Nathan Harrison as well in 7th position. So unbelievable ride from all the three Honda guys. Obviously different riders even for different things. Nathan obviously had quite a big crash at the start of the year with testing and stuff. For him to be back here, he's been a Honda rider for 2 years now, but this was his first TT, having to miss out last year. So yeah, it means a lot for him to be back there. And like you said, and John McGuinness in 5th position is incredible. So yeah, credit to the whole Honda team. The way the year has started and stuff, they've managed to turn that around and get the results here.
Sandwiched by the two Honda riders was James Hillier on the WTF machine. That's a really good TT campaign for James Hillier as well. He's still proven that he's still got the times to be right there in the top 6.
Yeah, that's the same team obviously as he was riding with before, only a change of team name and branding, and obviously machinery. They've gone from the Yamaha to the Honda, and James seems to be really happy. He's pushed on this year, and even on the super sport bike on the Colchester Kawasaki ZX6 he's rid absolutely amazing. So we can see Dean Harrison giving Davy Todd a big hug here and a congratulations. The respect between all these guys is top drawer, because they all know what they've had to leave out there on the track to get where they are now. So yeah, every single one of them right back to the last man home, we all have the same amount of respect.
Absolutely, we are ready for the Milwaukee Senior TT Podium, the final podium of TT 2024. Take it away, Chris Kinley.
Thank you, Chris. Brilliant stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the final presentation, as Chris said, of the Isle of Man TT 2024, the Milwaukee Senior TT. Could you please welcome up onto the podium to present the awards from Milwaukee, Paul Strong. Thank you, Paul. And thank you to Milwaukee for the continued support of the Isle of Man TT. And a good crowd up on the grandstand ready to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, as Paul makes his way just to the back of the podium there now, in third position, riding the Honda Racing UK Honda CBR 1000, number 3, Dean Harrison. And you hear the Honda guys shouting his name. Dino up there for the 5th time in the Senior TT on the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, a second TT podium, others first at the Senior TT. Riding for the Monster Energy by FHO Racing BMW team, Josh Brooks. Well done to Josh, gets himself up to that second step. And of course, Josh did a 134-mile-an-hour lap. And now, two-time Isle of Man TT winner, Superstock winner, and now the winner of the Milwaukee Senior TT, riding the BMW Milwaukee team for the Motorrad, Davey Todd, number 8. Davey makes his way up onto the winner's rostrum. And I'm sure not for just the second time, he'll be up there many, many times in years to come. He's got Paul from Milwaukee to present him with the award, and he's going to get the trophy first presented in 1907 to Charlie Collier, the winner of the 2024 Isle of Man TT Senior Race, Davey Todd. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the UK National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Dean Harrison, Josh Brooks, and your Isle of Man Senior TT winner, it's Davey Todd. And now for the most important bit, the champagne is ready to pop. Stand by underneath here now on the winner's podium. The 1907 trophy has gone, thanks to Paul from Milwaukee for doing the trophy. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pop some champagne. Come on, boys, give them a good old shake. The forage event, this stuff needs to go. Let's go, fellas. 3, 2, 1, go!